Welcome back to History Amnesia. We've started a little bit of our journey with the Pascagoula Indians. It seems that their peaceful way of life was disrupted by their encounter with the arrival of Hernando de Soto. They seem to have disappeared. So, where did they go? Their range was believed to be north on the Pascagoula River to the confluence of the Leaf and the Chickasaw rivers. But, after their De Soto encounter, they possibly moved westward and blended with other tribes, perhaps those of the Biloxi and Natchez. It's logical to think these may have been some kinsmen or tribesmen that traded with. Did they go as far as northern Louisiana, into Arkansas and Texas? And could these areas where they sought refuge have been familiar to them from earlier times? Or perhaps relatives? We know today that this area was the land of the Caddo. What do we know about this tribe and their possible connections to other tribes? What we do know is that their language connects them with the Wichita Pawnee and Arikara, and they were organized into confederacies like the Caddo Natchitoches and Hasinai, their kinfolk. The Caddo people originated in the lower Mississippi Valley and began settling the area between the Arkansas River and the Red, Sabine, Angelina, and Neches rivers around 700 to 800 AD. Could this have been the expansion of the Welsh? The time period would fit, as we know from Jim Michael, that the Welsh came here en masse, 700 boats that could hold up to 100 people around the late 6th century. And we've discovered Graveline Mound dated from 400 to 700 AD. This could have been built shortly after their arrival, and we know this was used as a ceremonial mound. The Caddo sprung up during this late woodland period and adopted agriculture starting with corn and pumpkins. Notice they, quote, adopted agriculture, end quote. They originally lived off the land. Is it possible that the Welsh introduced farming of these crops and brought these types of seeds with them? It would be logical to think so, as we know that during this period, life became more sedentary. But where did the corn and pumpkin come from? We know that the agriculture of corn originated in Mexico around 9,000 to 10,000 years ago in the Balsas Valley. Also, the agriculture of pumpkins originated in North America, specifically in parts of what is now Mexico and the southwestern United States. Evidence suggests they were cultivated as early as 7,000 to 5,500 BC. Native American tribes in the region were the first to cultivate and utilize pumpkins. What took them so long to begin cultivating it in other regions? If it is true that Prince Madoc was Quetzalcoatl, perhaps he brought it back with him to the coastal region around Mobile Bay. Or, and I believe that this may be the case, the Welsh taught them different techniques that furthered their skills to grow the seed that had been traded with other tribes. Perhaps they were used to agriculture and exchanged different preservation techniques for the lean times. After all, the Welsh were escaping a great famine from the asteroid strike in their country. Maybe they were the ones who learned different preservation techniques. Just look at the bow and arrow. The tribes were using the atlatl for a long period, and then they suddenly started using bows and arrows. We know the ancient British used these weapons long before going all the way back to Troy, and perhaps even further to ancient Egypt. It's possible that the Welsh influence on the natives and blending of cultures led them down a more sedentary, agricultural-based life, building their defenses and making their tribe into what it became. With much skill and a bit of luck, the Welsh survived the trip from their native lands. I would imagine that the most valuable resource they had to trade and to offer their new friends was their knowledge. As it seems, around this late woodland period, several changes began to occur. Next time we'll visit the Texas Caddo culture and explore possible influences from the Welsh. Thank you for joining us for this episode of History Amnesia. Please click the like, subscribe button and notification bell so that next time a video is posted, you'll be notified. Thanks for watching.